Manuel Ugarte coming in the coming hours. This is the latest we've heard about this story, as Man United and PSG have already reached a verbal agreement. Meanwhile, there is a new story that is coming in concerning a one Ederson, a Brazilian midfielder playing for the mighty Atalanta, and I call them mighty on purpose because they are mighty when it comes to overpricing their players. And it is said that Man United did place a bid for him and it was rejected over 50 million euros. I don't believe it. I'll give you more. Welcome to the Net of Sport. My name is Web. Like, share, and subscribe, and let's get hard into this talk. As yes, I do hope this is true. This is the report I would want to believe, and honestly, there are lots of contrasting reports coming through when it comes to what's going on now at Manchester United. But you get it. Usually, when this happens, it's a sign that we're about to cross the line. It's a sign that we're about to get there. So Manuel Ugarte will indeed soon come back. I'm for positivity. So that's why I would choose to trust, to believe the positive report. So the positive report is that in the next hours, the deal between Manchester United and PSG is going to be done. And why I want to believe this is because even my sources sort of seem to push towards that. My sources just confirmed to me yesterday when I dropped the last video. And thank you guys, by the way, for loving on that video. I think it's performing decently well, but we can do better, guys. We can do better than that. But anyhow, so the story was PSG and Manu had reached a verbal agreement. Of course, there were no details of whether it was for him to come on loan and with an obligation to buy, or United is finally meeting the valuation. PSG seem to be willing to go a little bit, down, but we're still waiting. But here's the thing: what we know is that a deal has been verbally agreed between the two parties, and probably what's going on now is them trying to finalize, things to do with the structure and the payment plan and the structure of the whole contract. That's my thinking. That's what I expect is going on now as we count down to the time when the deal is finally done and we call it a wrap. And it's soon going to happen. But in all fairness, this deal is dragging, and of course, people are running out of patience every day. We are sort of progressing and progressing, and it's because it's a difficult deal to pull off. Certain parties want all parties want the deal to happen, but the timings are different. I think that I think most of the guys involved, especially on the side of PSG, are not in a rush like we Man United supporters are. But here's the thing: it, it's it will be a little sad if this deal happens and people have lost the fire for it. I mean, when something over drags, I think it kills it. It loses the fire, what I mean. So it sort of loses it. But guess what? I think with Man United supporters, we never lose our fire, because when we wait on our players, when we believe they're the players we want, we'll wait. But also, honestly, when you think about it, we're used to this. Look how long we waited for Sofian Amrabat, and I had to sing and dance for you here when he eventually came. I think for me, it's no worry. I mean, the most important thing is for the deal to be done, and whichever time the deal is done, so as long as it's within the transfer window, of course, that's the only time it should be done anyway. I think it will make sense. Anytime Ugarte arrives in the coming weeks, he will still be an important player for Man United. What's a given is that he will arrive. Man United will sign him, and for the right fee, probably. Now, there are these reports of Ederson, the 25-year-old Brazilian Atalanta midfielder, that Man United apparently placed in a bid to Atalanta and it was rejected. And I think about it, I'm like, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. First of all, for the amount, mostly for the amount, because Man United is fully focused, and it's good even Fabrizio has come out to clarify this. It's Man United has been fully focused on getting, after securing both Mazraoui and Delete, the focus has been on getting Manuel Ugarte. Before we close the door on Manuel Ugarte, United cannot place a 50 million or so pounds bid or euros bid for any other player. It's insane. It doesn't make sense. You think about it, it defeats logic. And if he had said, this guy had said that happened so many weeks ago, before maybe we got to focus fully on Ugarte, maybe would try to believe, but no single source has seriously linked that to Ederson. I think if this were true, it would be a scoop of all scoops, I think, but I don't see any truth in it. I think the full focus for Man United is on Ugarte. That's why George Mendes came. And even if Man United had walked away from the Ugarte deal, I don't expect them to quickly jump onto a 50 million or so bid for a player, for an Ederson of Atalanta, because first of all, we know how hard it is to negotiate with Atalanta. You don't start negotiations with Atalanta late into the summer. You will never seal the deal. You will seal it the next summer. They are always hard with their money. They want their money. They do treasure their euro or pounds. I mean, they need. You can recall the last player we bought from there in Rasmus Højlund and how much they squeezed the balls out of United. So for me, this Ederson, story, I will sweep under the carpet, honestly. And I mean, I might be wrong. If something changes, it's okay, because I mean, the ideal transfer window, like I've been telling you, is for Man United to sign two players. But I don't think we even have the funds to afford Ugarte, who is 51 million pounds. We're already struggling with that, and then add on another player. But I also don't think we are going to drop Ugarte for Ederson. So for me, my thinking is, if it were a small bid for a player like Amrabat, I would listen. But Ederson and that price tag, I think this is a concocted story. I'll sweep it under the carpet. Let's focus on Manuel Ugarte, who I believe is the more real and serious story. So, but guys, there's one thing I observed in this summer as we are going on in this transfer window. We've tried to improve. Of course, Eric Ten Hag wants to have two players per position, and I feel like we are tending towards that. But my feeling is it's not really about just having two players per position. It's solving the problem that the club had. Now, yes, the problem, a part of the problem was the depth, the injuries, of course. Now, that is probably beyond anyone's control, because they are still happening. We don't know why. Why? Maybe it's a jinx or something. We were unlucky. I don't know. Eric Ten Hag mentioned it himself sometime. But look, I don't think we've entirely solved the problem of the dead wood. We have not really entirely removed all the dead wood from the team, and for as long as they're still there, it sort of limits my expectation. Now, it's one thing to have two players per position; it's a whole different thing to have uh, one new good signing and the same player with the wrong attitude and the wrong quality playing next to them. Yeah, I feel like we have not entirely cleaned this house properly, and I sort of and I'm not blaming Ineos, because it was never going to be easy for them to undo the mess, the contractual mess that the guys before with under the Glazers had made, because these players are contracted, whether they have wrong contracts or not. I mean, it's not Ineos to just come and instantly say, no, these are wrong contracts, I'm terminating them. I mean, that's not how it works. But the thing is, the reality is, it is what it is. Yes, whereas we're signing all these players, and we might sign Ugarte, which I think is going to happen. We are going to sign Ugarte. But still, for as long as we still have players like Victor Lindelof there, we're still having the same old players, the injury prone players still there. We are still having the Casemiros. Of course, Casemiro, I mean, that people will call me out for mentioning his name now because of the game he had against Fulham. But guys, we shouldn't just forget about him just because of one decent game that he had. My feeling for the players like Anthony are still there. Marcus Rashford is still there with his inconsistencies. I feel like we have not entirely cleaned the house, and some of these players who are still there are the big earners of the club, are the top dogs at the club, and they will in a way sort of have an impact on the rest of the quality we're bringing in. So how Eric Ten Hag is going to manage that dressing room, I think I'm eager to see. The beauty is that he's got a big team working with him to support him in that, but I think the full excitement for any United supporter should be when we clear out some of these Ericsens, all this deadwood, and we focus on the right players who have the right mentality, who have the right hunger, the right desire to fight and win for the club. Not players who are worried now because they are losing their positions, yet they are earning lots of money, who are losing their confidence now because, I mean, who wants to sit on the bench? You're earning more than everyone, because a player like Anthony is earning more than any new signing we have. No new signing at United is earning £200,000 per week. Not even Ugarte will get that. So, but Anthony will earn that playing off the bench. So you think about it and you're thinking, have we really cleaned the house? We've worked on something credible. There's still a lot of work to do. And that's why I will tell you, Ineos need all our support and patience, because they have got to undo a mess That was so deep than words can explain. My name is Webb. This is the United Hotspot. Stay positive because in the next hours, it's coming. Turn on the notification. I will be here to give it to you first. Cheers. Catch you later.